Hold up.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Fox298 here, and welcome back to another F1 2016 career mode video, season 3 with Red Bull Racing. Today we are here for the Singapore Grand Prix, and I hope you guys are ready for what's going to hopefully be a good Grand Prix. So as you can see from the vehicle performance comparison chart, Ferrari have yet again made another upgrade, and they are starting to close in a little bit on Mercedes, but they are still quite a long way back, and they're even further back from away from us. Now, as you can see on your screens there, they only made the one upgrade. I couldn't quite catch what it was, but if you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to drop a like on it. That'd be absolutely awesome. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to click that subscribe button, and that would be absolutely awesome. A couple of things to talk about quickly, so let's get into it. First of all, if you guys have not checked Twitter, you would have seen that Sauber have officially confirmed that Marcus Ericsson will be driving for them in 2017. However, Felipe Nasr has not been confirmed yet, so there is still potentially a seat left at Sauber until they obviously announce it. Now, of course, from recording this video, Sauber haven't actually announced their second driver. Marcus Ericsson, we know 100% has been confirmed to drive at Sauber for next season. So I'd like to hear your opinions on that, of course, you know, what you think about it. And of course, we'll be waiting very closely to see if they do retain Felipe Nasr for next season or whether they will get rid of him. Second of all, guys, as you know, in the last episode, I put out a poll which is still going to be running, and it will be running till the very end of this series, whereby you guys can get to vote to see what team you would like me to drive for in Season 4. This is not a confirmed poll, so if you think I'm voting for this team because that means he will drive for it, that's not the case. I just want to see what the majority of fans of you guys want, where you want me to go for next season, so I can sort of see. I want to try and make as many people as happy as possible when I make my choices, so this poll is just to see where people want me to go, and at the moment it seems quite a lot of you want me to go to Ferrari. So if you guys want me to go to Ferrari, keep voting for that Ferrari team if you haven't voted already. Otherwise, you can go and vote for a different team. Now, as you can see, we're coming into qualifying here for this Singapore Grand Prix, and it actually starts off by being a wet qualifying. You can see everyone's actually qualified on the full wet tyres, but I actually went out later on in the session and went onto the intermediate tyres because the track dried out by then. As you can see, coming across the start-finish line, we actually go and set the fastest lap of Q1, and that puts us in pole position, or not really pole position, but the fastest for that first session. You know, that's all going to be good for us. You can see a couple of drivers there setting some lap times on the inters, whereas some stayed and just did the lap time on the wet tyres. I did check to see if there was any big casualties in Q1. There wasn't many big casualties at all, so we don't need to worry about that at all. And that is us safely through into Q2. Now, as you can see, oh, it's not even loaded yet. We're still on the loading screen. Okay, as you can see, into Q2, bit of a dilemma. So we're coming around the first sector here. We're going to brake nice and hard. I turned way too... Oh, yeah. I crashed in Q2. Yeah. Now, let's go. Let's just have another run through that. So I actually show the full replay this time. So we're going to get a description of basically how I just bottled it in Q2. So as you can see here, I'm actually trying to adjust to see how I can, as you can see, I'm adjusting to try and get a slow motion view, so eventually I find it out. Now, as you can see here, I'm actually going in to try and take this corner, and what I do is I turn in way too early into the corner, and I just clip the wall. A complete driver error there. I wanted to try and take as much of the corner as possible. I just turned in way too early, and I'm not going to mess about. Nope, that's us out of the session. We are no longer going to be taking part in qualifying. That is going to be us starting in, I believe, 16th place for the Singapore Grand Prix. I'm not flashbacking, I'm not doing all of this stuff. We are out. We crashed, and that's us out of qualifying. So unfortunately, we're going to be starting very far down the order for this Singapore Grand Prix. So definitely not what we wanted, but we just got to work with what we've got, unfortunately, and hopefully we can try and do something well in the race in order to counter our problems. So looking at the resource points, we're not actually going to get many at all, and Daniel Ricciardo closes right up on us in the driver rivalry thanks to our horrific crash. And as you can see here, the driver position does go down. But we're going to be listening to the session objectives from Emma. But until then, guys, let's see what we can do. It's the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's do it.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up.
Nico Rosberg is on pole position today after coming out on top of a difficult qualifying, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Vettel, Lewis Hamilton and Massa, Perez, Alonso, Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Daniel Kvyat and Sainz, Button and a Red Bull, Jolyon Palmer and Felipe Nasser, Haryanto and Gutierrez, Pascal Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright then guys, as you can see, we are here on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and as you can see, coming up towards the end of the race, we have actually got a little bit of a strange dilemma, and that is going to be that the full wet tyre, it's going to start raining near the end of the race, and we are believed, because it's two little rain bars, that means that it will drop before this end of the race, and we will have to switch to the intermediate or potentially the full wet tyres. So what I was thinking of doing was potentially going on a strategy change and going on to the softs, maybe the super softs at the start of the race, because I've got free choice of tyres because I crashed out in qualifying. But what I decided to do is I want to be racy, I want to be aggressive, so I'm going to start on the ultra soft tyres, and I'm going to make the gamble of pitting for another set of dries probably, and then if the rain does fall, pitting for those intermediate tyres later on. So I'm going to be racy in this Grand Prix. I've got to be. I'm starting 16th. We're very far down the order, so we definitely need to work on that. So onto the formation lap now, which will be gone kind of, I don't know, whenever I decide to edit it out, I suppose. Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult for us to make our way through, and there we go, the formation lap is over. So as you can see now, we have got 5 red lights here on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and it is lights out, and away we go for this Singapore Grand Prix. A great start from us, getting straight past Jenson Button, and even going past Danny Kvyat here, as we make the run down towards turn 1. There's no room for us to go here. We're going to have to sit behind everyone, nearly going into the back of Hulkenberg here, trying to force one around the inside. I decide to go swooping around the outside here. Literally no space. Button tries to come back at us. Unfortunately, we can only get past the two Toro Rossos and the McLaren of Button. No room anywhere for us to get around anyone else. So we're just going to have to sit back and wait a little bit longer to make our attacks here. But as you can see, we're closing up onto the back of Nico Hulkenberg, sitting in the slipstream of the Force India driver. We're going to go late braking down the inside, and we're even going to take a run on Romain Grosjean, and we get past him as well as Hulkenberg. So up into 11th place now, and we're not even done yet. We're going to go down the inside of Kevin Magnussen in the corner, which I crashed in qualifying, and now onto the back of Alonso here, braking on the inside. I'm literally going left, right, and centre here, taking drivers in every single corner on this opening lap. Told you, I'm going to be racy at the moment. And as you can see, we're now closing up onto Valtteri Bottas in the Williams driver, and once again making a really random overtake. A bit of contact there with me and Bottas. I'm just being aggressive. I'm not bothered. I'm just going to take everyone out. I'm going to go for a diving move on Massa. Too far back, decided to back out of it and brake much harder to avoid any sort of collisions. But what a great start from us, in 16th place on the grid, up to 8th already, and we've still got to try and pursue the likes of Massa and Perez. As soon as we can get past them, then it's going to start getting difficult with the likes of the Ferraris and the Mercedes and my teammate. So once we get past Massa and Sergio Perez, that's when we're going to be in a good shape to attack others. As you can see, that I accidentally exceeded the track limits, which is one of 3 warnings, but we're going to go down the inside of Felipe Massa into the tunnel here. What a move, and Massa is still there, literally banging my car as he tries to get some sort of space, or tries to get on the racing line, whatever was going on there. A bit of contact there between me and Felipe, but luckily I managed to come through and stay in front. But Kimi Raikkonen is at the fastest lap of the race, meaning that Ferrari is leading this Grand Prix. Not often we've been talking about Ferrari up at the front of the field in this career mode. They've been very far down the order, and they're definitely looking to try and regroup here. So we've got Hamilton right in front there with Nico Rosberg and Sergio Perez. So I definitely need to pass Sergio Perez, and so then I can get back onto the back of the Ferraris and the Mercedes and the Red Bull of my teammate to really have a chance of winning this Grand Prix, and have a chance of just battling. So as you can see, into the slipstream of Sergio Perez, you know what's coming. Dive bomb down the inside. Perez gives us the space. He should not have given us the space there. We didn't even have we only had our front wing really alongside Perez, but he gave us the space, so I'm not bothered about that at all. Having a look at the start then, you can see that Vettel actually got quite a bad start there from his grid slot, and that gave Lewis Hamilton the opportunity to come through on him, and the Force India even nearly got a run as well. As you can see, this is us battling way further down here. I had to go around the outside to avoid any sort of collisions, and then Jenson actually had to avoid Danny Kvyat and Toro Rosso, meaning that he went straight to the side of me, but no damage for any of us, so it's all good on that front. As you can see, Kimi Räikkönen here goes for a move on the inside of Nico Rosberg down the back straight, and he actually makes that one stick, as well as Ricciardo makes that move stick, because you saw that Rosberg was behind Lewis Hamilton as well. Down the inside here of Romain Grosjean, we get that move done, and then of course we go down the inside of Kevin Magnussen here, who gives us a hell of a lot of room there, and then all of a sudden I dart to the other side of the circuit, and I'm down the inside of Alonso. Literally, this was the darting manoeuvres of dreams right here. And now we come down to the run here. Now we're going to be doing the battle with the Williams drivers, and you know these Williams drivers, they're very aggressive when we were battling them, so we're going to make a move down the inside of Valtteri Bottas here, and then there's a tiny bit of contact which you saw. And then as you can see here, I was thinking, let's dive bomb Felipe Massa, but I knew there was just no space there. It was not going to happen. It was just going to end up me going straight into the side of Massa, and that would be my race over with. So I decided to brake a hell of a lot harder and try and avoid the collision, which luckily I put on the brakes even more, and that stopped any me executing what would have been a horrific dive bomb. So as you can see now, we are just going to have to follow Felipe Massa and close up on him as much as we can. You can see here, that's when I exceeded track limits, because I probably broke the camera going into that curb, so whoops, sorry about that. And as you can see here, we're going to make that lunge down the inside of Felipe Massa here. He actually makes contact with the wall, and you can see that he's still there alongside me and still literally trying to basically beat me off the circuit, because I was on the outside there, so he was trying to shove me wide, but luckily I had more of my car in front of Massa that I was able to stay in front. Round the second to last corner, and then the final corner here for the end of the first lap, and what's been a cracking first lap for myself, to be honest, in our recovery drive in this Grand Prix. And this is onto the lap 2 now, and I'm going to be showing you the overtake that we made on Sergio Perez in the Force India, so that's coming up very, very shortly, which was down the back straight and into the dive bomb zone. So as you can see then, Lewis Hamilton got in front of Nico Rosberg, so it was actually a shocking start for the pole sitter, Rosberg, because he was on pole, but Raikkonen, Ricciardo and Hamilton have all got past him at a specific stage. Now as you can see here, this is when we make the dive bomb on Sergio Perez, a very weird one, because look, I've got none of my car there. I should not be making that dive bomb move work, but Perez just moved out of the way, like he always knew I was coming and thought, that's not my fight, let me just stay away from him. So really weird stuff. But anyway, moving on then, further on into the lap, we've now closed up on Vettel and Rosberg. We're both on super soft tyres, so that's why they've fallen down the order quite a little bit. And Raikkonen's still out there setting some fast laps, but we're going to be darting through the second to last corner and around the final corner now onto the pit straight. We've got the DRS. Vettel looking for a move on Nico Rosberg. I'm going to go down the inside of Vettel, and I also make the move stick on Rosberg as well. A double overtake here, taking away two of my rivals. Of course, Vettel and Rosberg, the Ferrari, the Mercedes driver. A stunning double overtake for myself there. And we are up into 4th place after just 3 laps in this Singapore Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing stuff. Moving on to lap 6 of the Grand Prix, I started to build a gap over myself and Vettel, who's in front of Rosberg now, because they were on the super soft tyres and they were battling each other. Now it's time for me to come into the pits and take on my super soft tyres, and we're going to hopefully take those to the end of the race, but be wary, we've still got that rain on the way, so we definitely need to be worried about that. Into the pits now we come, and as you can see, we're putting on those super soft tyres, and that is us all good for the time being. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of traffic around, so hopefully we can try and get through the traffic without many issues, and hopefully maybe the traffic can help us. That would be kind of nice. You saw that actually, Raikkonen was stuck behind a Manor, so that'd be kind of interesting to see if we could try and get past him. Potentially, if he doesn't get stuck, if he stays stuck behind the Manors, we may just be able to sneak past him, but he's a long way in front, so we definitely need to work on it here on lap 7 now of this Singapore Grand Prix. And down here, and corner cut, but I didn't get warned for this time, so sorry about that. Moving on then into the further on into lap 8 of the Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton is stuck behind Rio Haryanto, no, it's Pascal Wehrlein, sorry, in the Manor here, so definitely the traffic started to help us here in our recovery drive, and as you can see here, we're now looking to take an opportunity at overtaking Lewis Hamilton. So coming down the long straight here, or the pit straight, sorry, Hamilton goes the inside line on Pascal Wehrlein, so I'm going to try and take the move, and I decide to go down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein for the entry into turn 3. I couldn't do a double move like I did on Vettel and Rosberg. Hamilton just had too much pace. Now, I'm actually replaying back, because as I was making this overtake, you saw on the top of your screens, Sebastian Vettel is out of the Singapore Grand Prix, and this is how it's an engine failure down the back straight for Vettel. So whilst you saw that camera shot of me overtaking Wehrlein and having a look at Lewis Hamilton, as I showed you a replay back then, Vettel went and retired as that was happening, and the virtual safety car came out. Now here we go. This is kind of a bit cheeky for myself. So the virtual safety car is ending. I'm above the delta time, I closed up on Lewis Hamilton, and then I went down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, and I basically just got a cheap overtake. And that's something you can do in this game, so before you start complaining, you can do it. When the virtual safety car says it's ending, you can go quicker than the delta time because it's a 15-second delta time to reduce your speed. However, you can do it much, much quicker than that. So I just quickly went under the delta time and I just gained time on Lewis Hamilton, and then I went for a move down the inside and he gave me the space. So there's a top tip for you guys. If you want to try and take advantage of the virtual safety car, go as soon as it says it's ending, just floor it because you'll have enough time. The safety car will end, the virtual safety car will end before you have to reduce your speed for the delta. But as you can see, we carried on that clip and we actually went down the inside of Rio Haryanto and Kimi Raikkonen. So the traffic gods are literally with us right now. We got past Pascal. We didn't actually get past Hamilton with the manor in front. We only got past Pascal Wehrlein, but definitely helped us get past Kimi Raikkonen there. Moving on to lap 10 now of the Grand Prix. And unfortunately, things are getting a bit difficult on track. The rain has arrived, and you can see it on the screen. I'm actually really struggling right now to really just get this car working. So I'm decided that I'm coming into the pits, and everyone else actually stays out for another lap. You can see that there goes Raikkonen there into the pits. So weirdly, they're not coming in. However, I feel it's too wet to stay out on the dry tyres, so I'm going to be coming in for the intermediate tyres, and you can see the green wall inter tyres on, and we're going to be taking those to the end of the race. So unfortunately, I didn't think I thought the rain would probably fall at the end of the race, but it wouldn't make us need to change. However, it did fall hard enough for us to change onto a set of the intermediate tyres. So we're going to be taking these now to the end of the race, and hopefully we can try and get inroads on Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton because they stayed out on dries. And maybe we could try and hunt down Daniel Ricciardo because he didn't come in either. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one. So as you can see now, Fernando Alonso still on the super soft tyres. And you can see DRS has only just now been disabled. Hence why the other teams didn't come into the pits, because the DRS was enabled, meaning that it was still dry enough to stay out. But it just clearly wasn't. I could feel the grip going away. And now our pursuit is, well, it's not really a pursuit to be honest. We just need to try and get these inter tyres up into a good temperature working range now. Skipping further ahead onto lap 11, you can start to see that my decision to come in a little bit earlier is actually paying off, because you can see this is Nico Hülkenberg in front of me in the Force India, and I'm going to go for a super late braking move because I literally have so much more grip, and you saw it there. It wasn't even a dive bomb really, it was just the fact that I have so much more grip and confidence on the braking. You can see that I'm sliding around a little bit here. Daniel's into the pits now for what is going to be his pit stop onto the intermediate tyres. You can see here Carlos Sainz has no grip either, and we're just going to go straight down the inside of Sainz here into the tunnel section, and we don't even need to shove him wide at all. He doesn't even fight it. And you can see Felipe Massa in front of us now. So we're literally carving our way through these drivers as they look to try and make that pit stop onto the intermediate tyres. Coming around the final corner now, we're going to be... Did we actually manage to get out? There's Hamilton, in fact. He's just made that stop onto the inters, and through we go past him, and past Kimi Raikkonen as well. So we did maintain what will be a net second place in this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo leads the race. You can see him just going through now, the final sector. But Nico Rosberg, because Hamilton came in, couldn't pit for his intermediate tyres, unfortunately. So he's kind of basically just doing what he can on his wet tyres. So I literally just slide on through. I wasn't even going to bother. I knew Rosberg was not even going to put any sort of a fight up because he's on the wrong compound of tyre. So sorry for Nico Rosberg. No, I'm not really sorry at all. On to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo is in front of us, and unfortunately, I just couldn't close the gap down. The gap was about 9 to 10 seconds before the pit stops. After the pit stops, I reduced it to about 5 seconds, but from then on in, really, Daniel had much more pace, a lot better pace than myself, and he comes through and wins the Singapore Grand Prix. But hey, I'm not complaining. We started 16th in this Grand Prix, and as you can see from my celebrations across the line, we finished 2nd in this Singapore Grand Prix. I cannot complain with that at all. Starting 16th and finishing 2nd, for me, that is an amazing comeback in this Grand Prix, and I will definitely take that one. That's definitely one of my more favourite Grand Prix to race in, just because it was such a good race to just drive it. I love the circuit. The circuit had something there that it just connected with me. Of course, I made the mistake in qualifying. Maybe if I didn't make the mistake in qualifying, it could have been just one of those races where we dominated from start to finish. But hey, the entertainment factor is still there, and as you can see behind Sergio Perez is another glitch driver who has not got a car and is floating in the air. So Codemasters do like floating drivers, but overall in the Grand Prix then, I definitely had the pace overall. It was such a good time just to fight back, and it was just a really, really fun race to drive, to be honest. I had a lot of fun. Maybe one of my favourite races of the season so far. So guys, if you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to click the like button. That'd be absolutely awesome, and it really does mean a lot to me. Same if you do click the subscribe button to my channel. It means so much to me to see you guys constantly tuning in for these F1 videos, and it really does mean a lot, so I do thank you for that. And as you can see, here is the full classification showing that myself and Daniel Ricciardo taking a Red Bull 1-2 with Ricciardo winning the race, and the Ferrari getting on the podium actually, so no Mercedes is on the podium, and Rio Haryanto got 5th. Look at that. Check out Rio Haryanto in his manor, getting 5th place for Manor Racing. What an absolutely amazing drive from Haryanto himself there. Obviously, he actually made the one-stop work, so a great job from Haryanto. So his plan of doing the one-stop, which I was thinking of, was actually a really good idea. So congratulations Haryanto. 5th place, 10 points for Manor. That's what they need. So anyway, we are going to be making an upgrade for the Malaysian Grand Prix. But I lost the rivalry with Daniel Ricciardo by 1 point, unfortunately, so that's a bit annoying. But anyway, as you can see, there are all the rivalries in the score. Now, we are going to be making an upgrade, which is the chassis weight. I don't show it. Yeah, we are going to show it now. So it's going to be the chassis weight for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And until then, guys, I will see you for that Malaysian Grand Prix. So take care. Peace.